Today we're taking a look at Music Racer for the Nintendo Switch, an arcade rhythm-based racer where you dodge obstacles and hit music notes all in time with a soundtrack. Yes, clear similarities to Sayonara Wild Hearts in style and gameplay, but can this one live up to that one and be almost a budget alternative? Well, hit like if this video helps you out today, hit subscribe, join the family, and let me know below in the comments what you think of this one. Let's get this started. Okay, so unlike Sayonara Wild Hearts, this one has no story, so we're jumping straight in here with gameplay. And the objective, it's simple. Maneuver one of 25 cars or bikes across a 3-lane track, all while trying to hit the white notes, and then of course avoid any of the obstacles that may cross your path. Controls here couldn't be more simple, and that's basically use the left joystick to move left and right between the 3 lanes. And that's really about it. This one for me, it's more about the experience. Now, don't think that means this one is easy though. It's actually pretty challenging, especially when you factor in each track gives you a chance to get up to a 3-star rating. That actually kept me coming back, simply trying to perfect my run before. This 3-star rating, it's based on a few areas: beats hit, combo score, and then of course your overall score as well. Now when it comes to the cars, the bikes, they all control exactly the same way as you would really expect. But with the sizable selection, these go everywhere from futuristic Tron style looking motorbikes to F1 cars to American Muscle, all the way through to a DeLorean fashioned like the one you would see in Back to the Future, my personal favourite. Now while it is completely unnecessary to change vehicles here, it makes no impact, as I said, they're purely visual. It's a nice touch for completionists out there, because if you want to use them, you're going to have to earn coin to unlock them. Now when it comes to the tracks, we have 14 levels here, alongside a music library to pick what you want to play to. Now I will say its PC and Google App Store counterparts actually lets you use your own music, but that's obviously not an inclusion on this version. Well, that is obviously a fault of the console and not the game. It does mean if I had access to PC or an Android phone, I'm not sure if this one would be my go-to build. This though also leads to my first major problem. The music notes on the track, they're far from perfect with lining up with the musical beat. Yes, I will say maybe 50% fall somewhere in the region of where they need to be, but then there just seems to be random ones scattered in between. It feels like it's just been included simply for the sake of difficulty, and it just breaks the entire concept for me. Often even the music would actually go silent, yet a note would be sitting there. It just makes no sense. This, for me, it turned it from what I thought it was going to be was a pretty, relaxing experience where I embraced the music to guide me. And it actually turned out to be more of a visual challenge as I was watching out for these notes coming my way. And that's not really what I was looking for here. If you actually go to the options as well, you can turn on a sound effect for these note hits. And when you do that, I can see why you left them off, because they almost always fall out of time. Unfortunately for gameplay as well, there is another big issue. Well, I'm not sure, it's kind of two things, either track design or camera angle. Often you'll be flying around corners or over hills and you can't see upcoming notes you need to hit because they're literally a split second after you make it over that bump. An easy solution would have either been to pull the camera back to give us a wider angle of the track, or calm down a bit on the track design. I personally prefer the idea of the camera, because the tracks are, I will say, pretty awesome when you're racing around them at 200 miles per hour. Maybe the camera could even move with the track so it could lift up as we're going over these hills. Overall, I will say, with 4 difficulty modes, a decent selection of tracks, tons of cars to unlock here, and a solid frame rate, I did still have some fun with it. Content wise, I think it's fair to say it's actually pretty rich. I mean, 14 tracks for the main playthrough is pretty good. Unfortunately, I just wish they hadn't, felt the need to go outside of the music first of all and put notes in random places, but also they needed to focus on the music itself and make sure those beats lined up. Then with the hills, the quick turns, they just kind of blindside the player to beat you, and that doesn't feel very fair. This one, it's got a great foundation, but it's a pretty big miss for a game that's based upon rhythm and precision. Okay, so graphics on this, it's a good looking game, I've got to say. This, for me, Sayonara Wild Hearts meets Horizon Chase Turbo. That's not a bad thing at all. Embracing neon and retina burning colours, it was a great design decision for this. Retro wave, it's a style I love and they've nailed it here. Not only does it make seeing upcoming notes and obstacles very simple, but it all adds into the speed of the game as neon flies past you in all its blurred glory, especially if you turn the blur mode on in the options. But overall, sharp visuals, a solid frame rate, some cool ass recognisable cars which are also customisable. Then it's all taking place in a neon dream style as you race along tracks made of single neon lines. It's bright, beautiful minimalism. It really does make for something fun and stylistic to look at as it blurs past you at that 200 mph speed. Just don't expect to be going to sleep immediately after playing this one. It's kind of like a shot of caffeine. Okay, audio, the all-important music. After all, it is a game built upon it, and I'm happy to say I did enjoy the soundtrack. It features 3 different artists, and generally they've all done good work. Yes, it's a budget title coming in at under $10, it's actually $7 this one, so don't expect any major artists or labels, but what they do have here matches both the gameplay and visuals. The music for the most part kind of leans on a synthwave, pop and electro style, and that's exactly what I expected. Basically, don't go in here for like metal or anything like that because, yeah, you're not gonna find that here. You will for sure though find a few favourites that you will continue to revisit. I even actually hunted out one of the artists in the game so I could listen on my way to work. Music is pretty much all we get for audio, understandably here. I was curious why there wasn't a sound effect for when you hit the notes. What I did find out was, as I mentioned earlier, it's in the options. I can see why they left it out because when you turn it on, you can hear how out of line with the music it is. Also, I will say as well, this note sound effect is pretty damn poor. It's like a little tapping from a metronome, and I feel like it should have reinforced the beat of the music or maybe just increased the volume of the music. You know, let's add some impact here rather than what sounds like a ticking sound. Overall, Music Racer is a budget title from its name. Yeah, Music Racer, they weren't exactly flexing the brain muscles there. Through to the song selection, the price, but it's nice to see a game that doesn't shy away from the rhythm genre simply because it can't get big name artists behind it to entice players in. Now, with a great graphical style, a decent amount of content and some solid gameplay, it's only let down when the game strays way too far from its core formula and they didn't put the focuses in the right place. Unfortunately for a music game, the music here doesn't line up. That's a real big problem, unfortunately, for this one. Then with tracks that fight against you and angles that they're just impossible to see coming, this one definitely has its share of problems, especially when they decided to add in music notes that are completely out of time, even to silence, just to inflate the difficulty. That's what got me first questioning how is the timing with this game. Today for Music Racer on the Nintendo Switch, I'm giving this one a slightly below average 4 out of 10. I had some big complaints with this one. There is still some fun experiences to be had here. It just could have easily been great with a few minor tweaks and just focusing on lining up that music perfectly. If this was like the PC or the Android where I'm using my own music, I could forgive that problem. You know, it's pretty hard to take music and then get that lining perfect. But here they've chosen very particular songs and they needed to focus on that before releasing it to the public. If you are considering this one, I'd probably say, first of all, lean towards that PC or Android variation. If you don't have any access to them, then yeah, consider the Switch version. As I say, it's very cheap, but just go in with tempered expectations and see if you can kind of get over that musical issue. Hopefully they'll patch this one and fix it up a little bit. Thanks so much for joining us today for this review. We actually have another 4 reviews coming up in this next week alone, so hit subscribe to be notified the second they drop. Join our growing Switch family here on the Gaming X. Hit like if this review helped you out, and let me know if you'll be picking this one up in the comments below and if you think I've been fair. With that, we'll see you all on the next Gaming X.